So here's the reality. Organic reach isn't the same as it used to be anymore. If you're running a business or trying to grow a brand and you're solely relying on organic content or maybe even virality, it's not going to be enough for you to scale. And in this video, I want to show you how to use Meta ads or Facebook ads to be able to give your content or your campaigns a little bit of a push. Now, the great thing about what I'll teach you today is it can be translated across the other social media platforms. Of course, I'll create tutorials on how to create ads there, but just know they more or less have the same way of doing things. So we'll start with a simple boost on a Facebook page, which can be done on your Instagram page. It's the same thing you can do on TikTok as a promote. And on LinkedIn, I think also has a promote. They all kind of work the same. And then we're going to move into a more powerful tool called Ads Manager. Now, I'm not going to go into depth with Ads Manager. I'll create a separate video for that. But I will highlight basically the flow and the rationale of creating an ad. As you can see, I created a blog post on my Thought Leadership blog on my website. If you'd like to check that out, go to alrendovu.com, Thought Leadership, and you will find a bunch of articles there about digital marketing, about business, about career, about everything. I love to write about all the things I'm interested in. And in this article, I basically explored the reality of how we came from a time where all we did was post. We posted what we wanted to share and it would reach all our friends. But now only a small percentage of the stuff we post reach our friends, if at all. And a lot of the stuff we see on our feeds is recommended stuff and ads from people that we don't even follow. Some crucial stats. These are from 2025 industry benchmarks. All across the board, organic reach has dropped. And when we look at the big picture of all the followers you have, only 1 to 5% of them are seeing your organic posts. In Instagram, it's a bit better, 3 to 5%, but Facebook, Instagram, same thing. And on LinkedIn, it's a little bit higher. I think LinkedIn's a bit better because the content stays green for a longer time and your content reaches people that you never think would receive it. Whereas Instagram, Facebook, especially Facebook, it's a bit dead. For every 1,000 followers, an organic post typically reaches fewer than 50 people across these platforms. So if you want to know more about what's going on behind the scenes, then read my article and you'll get the reality of what's going on. So what do we need to do as businesses? We then need to maybe play a little to the tune of these platforms. I think organic still has its role to play, especially when it comes to SEO and now AIO and the strategies in creating organic content in a way that brings traffic to your site or to your products or brand awareness in a natural way. But because these platforms are really choking our content, we need to put a bit of money behind our posts and content so that they reach the audiences that we want. Another reason that you want to put some money behind your content is because of the advanced targeting. When you post, some of your followers are seeing and the offshoot chance that someone out there is going to see. But with advertising, you can target the age demographics, where they're located, the things they like, what devices they're using. You can basically reach people, the exact people that you want. So that's the only reason why I'd advocate for these ad platforms, is because they expose you to thousands and millions of people, and sometimes with a low cost per acquisition. The first and most simplest way to get ads started is by boosts. This will help you get started quickly, and you won't go through a lot of the hoops that Ads Manager will do. So we'll go through the step-by-step process of creating a simple boost, and then we'll go into Ads Manager. Okay, so we're now in the mini Ads Manager. I'll call it the mini Ads Manager. So basically when you click boost, then it will take you into this little boosted post manager. Okay, so when you start, you will be presented with the opportunity to choose your goal. So depending on what your goal is and what you're trying to achieve, you will select the goal there, the appropriate goal. So as you can see, there's automatic. This will choose. So I guess if you're an absolute beginner, you want to go automatic, but I always advocate for control. You want to choose what you want your ads to do for you. Engagement will bring more engagement to your posts. So likes, comments, all that stuff will be, as you can see, is described there. So I don't need to explain it much. If you want to grow your user base from a contact form, if you want to get calls, or you want to get more website visitors. Say because I am an online store, I want to get more website visitors. So I want people to come to my website and see the wide range of products I have. I'll pick that. If I want people to, let's say, send me a direct message, I could also pick that, like get more messages. And say I just want them to buy that product that I'm advertising. Then I'll click that. So let's say I'll say get more website visitors. The next step is to deal with your ad creative. Okay. So this is basically your pictures, your headlines, and all that good stuff. So I've opted for this post. This is the one I'm boosting, of course. So it's going to use the copy from the original post, but I can also change it. So if you're really good at copy, or you've got an AI tool that will help you with copy, this is the place that you could use it. Okay. So you could pick your media, choose multiple images. So you can basically select your media from there, and it will open a dialog box to let you go and search for the media you want. Choose your headline. So here you can write a headline, and then instead of apply, what would be the right call to action? You want to put something that actually works here. So I will say shop now, so that they go to my website. You see my website's already there. I can choose a contact method, so either calls or WhatsApp. That will be good. So not only do they get directed to my website, they can also send a direct message, which will be quicker. I'll put my number there. This you can ignore. More advanced, we'll skip that. So remember when I said the reason why I advocate for ads is because of the access it gives you to powerful audiences, the audiences that mean the most for your business. This is where you'll set that up. So there's the generic audience where it will pick for you and try to find who your best audience is. I think this is good if you are starting with ads, you don't know your audience, but my advice is always make sure you start creating ads knowing who your audience is. Then you could choose people through targeting. So you select the audience, their ages, their demographics, what they like, and all that stuff. People in your local area. So let's say you've got a local shop, or you could create your audiences. So as you can see, I have created this audience here. If I go to people you choose through targeting and I click the edit, you will see it allows me to fine tune my audience. But this is very basic audience targeting. It's still better than nothing, but it's very basic. So I can refine my audience here. But if I want to go for very advanced targeting, I'll go to Ads Manager. So pick an audience. Let's say I pick my audience that I saved. In this area, you will then define how long you want the ad to run and how much you want to pay. So your budget, your audience targeting, all that stuff will affect the results you get. So as you can see, these are estimated results. So impressions, how many times your ads will show, link clicks, how many times people will click your ad. And you can basically play with this and see what the different settings you do show. I will tell you a pro tip. Take this with a pinch of salt. Sometimes it will give you a number and you will get more. Sometimes it will give you a number and you'll get less. Just do your best to target the right audience and work with the budget you want. Don't feel pressure, and then optimize your ads as you go. Once you've done that, you can set up a pixel. So now a pixel is what you install on your website. It's a bit of code, and it will collect data, who's coming to your website, and what they're doing when they're on there. And then of course you put your bank card, the one that you'll use, and then you will publish your ad, and it will review the ad, and the ad will start showing. So where will you see this ad? So when you're on your Instagram or your Facebook, you will see like a sponsored post, whether it's a reel or a post. Those are ads, and this is how you create them. They can show in other places like WhatsApp statuses. They will show on third-party apps and all those things. But the main places they will show are on the Facebook or the Meta properties, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Facebook in the main real estate area. You will see when we get into Ads Manager, you will be able to fine tune these things. Now in Ads Manager, the process is the same. It's just a lot more detailed. It's a lot more powerful, and everything's intuitive. So you'll basically go to create. You'll choose your objective. So do you want this to be awareness, traffic, engagement, leads, app promotion, sales? Ignore this. We're normally going to use auction type, but you can use reservation. More on that on another video. So let's say I say sales because I want to sell some products. So you will start with a campaign. The campaign will have the overall settings of the campaign that you're trying to run. So of course you want to name it. You could have a campaign budget, so how much the whole campaign, including all the ad sets and all the ads going to use, or you can have an ad set budget. Now, an ad set budget, in simple terms, they're going to be, so we've got a campaign, then we've got ad sets, and inside the ad sets, we've got ads. So if you use an ad set budget, each ad set with its own ads will have its own budget. So typically you want to use your money on your whole campaign, but there are cases, and we'll get into those later in another video, where you will want an ad set budget. You will choose, remember in the normal boost, we only had a daily budget, how much you want us willing to spend a day. But in Ads Manager, you could use a lifetime budget, which will determine how much you will use for everything within the duration of your ads. Okay, so depending on how you want to go about things, there's reasons for both. You'll choose what you want there. A/B test, more advanced, we'll skip that. So in the ad set, you're going to choose who's going to see your ads. So you'll name your ad set, you will choose your conversion location. So where do you want people to go when they click? Calls, website, all that stuff. You could choose where you want people to convert. And then we've got the date, when you want it to start, when you want it to end. We've got the audience control. So like I said, this is where you choose who's seeing your ad and all that stuff. You could choose a saved audience. Okay, so the saved audience is going to be like what I've saved. But again, you can then choose your own audience, the demographic and all that lovely stuff. As you can see, people will love hoodies, fashion and retail, all that stuff you could choose. Or you could choose an audience and then save the audience. Okay, placements is basically where your ad's going to show. So here I can choose where I want my ads to show. So let's say I want them to show on Reels, but not on Feeds, or I want them to show on Instagram, but not on Facebook. That's where you control your placements. But again, this is advanced, and typically you want it to show in many places because by default, there's certain places that will show more than others anyway. As you can see on this side, you also have the audience definition, whether it's broad. You can also see the estimated size of the people you'll reach. Next, you want to go into the ad. The ad is where you put all the creative. It's where you're going to create it. So you're going to, of course, name it. If this is a partnership ad, let's say you're working with a brand, you want to add that there. If you click this, if you switch this on, basically it will show you what the ad's going to look like, basically. I've chosen my pages. I want to create an ad. My media, I'm going to manually upload it. So this means I'll choose my media. This, very advanced. I don't like it. I normally turn it off. I'll explain in a more detailed video. I choose my destination. So the URL I want people to go to. So let's say it's philosophy.shop. And then we go into the ad creative. I will choose an image. Then I can then choose my creative. Okay. So let's say I want to sell this one. This one's quite popular. Okay. I'll add that. Because remember, just talked about placements. Some placements like the feed is usually 4x5 or 1x1, so square or sort of like portrait. And then we've got the stories, and then we've got very rarely seen, but the horizontal, and you can kind of adjust these. You might just say you don't want this, and if Facebook's got a way of basically cropping, you basically choose how you want it to look. Okay, so of course with this, you're going to make sure that your creative is standardized for these placements, and then you're going to go into the text. Again, we're just going to use some dummy text here. I'm going to put the headlines here. So headlines are short. There are limits to how much content you can put in terms of headlines and all that stuff. So just make sure you use best practices. And that's why I use this tool, because it helps me be able to create copy that fits the standards. Okay, so let's just put that. I'll just use one. This is optional. You can ignore. It's going to show in some places. So let's just repeat that. And then call to action, what you want people to click. Okay, so I'm going to go to shop now. Enhancements, go through these, but basically it's, for example, do you want to add product tags? Do you want to add animations to your images? Do you want visual touch where it's going to crop? Do you want to add music? Add multiple images, flex media, which I don't like because a lot of these things have very bad crops. But again, all these are advanced, and I'll show you in another more detailed, more slower video. Here are the ads, as you can see over here. These are the ads, what they would look on the different platforms. and you can just scroll through and see if it's going to look great on the different platforms that you're going to view it in. And if you're happy, you can continue to the next steps. Carousel is if you want to use a carousel, which is the sliding ones. More on that on another time. You see your copy is there. You could then customize your call to action, optimize the text per person. There's a lot of things you can do. Set up your pixels, track them. When you're satisfied, click publish. And what it's going to do is it's going to review it and it's going to show there. And once it's ready and running, your ad will start running and showing in all the respective places, and then you will have all this data, which again you can customize for a future video to show you the metrics that matter the most to your business. So basically, that is how you create ads. They are so important, especially in a world where organic reach is going lower. But I'd advise, if you want to start seeing better results in your advertising, in your branding, if you want to bring more people in, if you want more people to know about you, there's an ad for everything. And like I said, the way you create ads on Meta is similar to how you do it on Twitter, on LinkedIn. They more or less have the same processes, maybe save a few differences in tools and the way to describe things and audiences and stuff, but it's more or less the same thing. So if you can lock the basics in here, you can basically do the same for other platforms. I hope this was helpful to you, and I hope you had an understanding of why it's important to start running ads, and just to show you that they're actually easy to run. Boosts are doable for almost anyone. Ads Manager, you kind of need a business account and then need to create ad account and set up a lot of things like pixels. It gets complicated, and I'll show you how to do those things bit by bit in different videos. But for now, know that it's possible, know that it's simple, and know that it's needed. If you appreciate this video, please give me a like. It will really help my channel. Please share the content. Please subscribe to the channel, and please comment. Let's communicate, ask me questions, let me know if I could make the videos better. But that's all for me for now. Happy ad creating. Take care.